So at this point, we're going to have the open mic, and everybody is welcome to read during the open mic. Usually people volunteer through the chat. You can also use the raise hand function if you would like to. Okay, so we've got 2 volunteers so far. So first we'll have Sarah Bellum, and then Margot, and then Brian. Margot, or sorry, Sarah, you're muted.
Oh, hey, all right, there we go. I was like, family friendly. Okay, now I gotta find a different poem. I think I got something though. Thanks so much for having me. This is incredible. I love all these Houston poets from Houston myself. So like I write about Now Crew and then new poets too. So this poem is going to be Deceptive Heat. This is a write about now 30 for 30 prompt of write a poem using the words gather, accident, and flawless. I gather all the collective goodness I am, the meaning of me not being an accident, never flawless in design, because the nicks and marks on this flesh show how I was cut open, bled out until wet, chilled by the progression of my bloodletting until there is nothing left. I am the automated collection of being more than the culmination of trauma, sitting on my porch waiting for me to bring it in like a package to be unwrapped, to be given a home within the 4 walls I've created from the destruction of myself, lodged it in my earlobe where it, like ear holes meant to carry earrings, but all I do is carry the past like ornaments to a Christmas tree that never lights me up. I plug coils into the wall socket, dance before it like I mean to make illumination happen just by the movements, and my hips synced in time with the rhythm of my heart beating, burping. Occasionally the blood veins don't want to emit inside like the clogged arteries, the congestion of traffic outside my window that never stops its movement but spills onto my streets. I've always had the lighter near me, snapping it on and off, quelling the urge to see how flesh burns, and instead wear fire retardant solve to keep it from being lit properly. I'm too tempted to fall in love with the flames that I can't help but to watch them lick, eat the oxygen, use it as fuel, and wonder if I'm the flick of a flame furnished into deceptive heats. Thank you.
Thank you. That's great. Margot, you ready?
Yeah. Bath time. Oh, I'm sorry. The title is Getting Clean. Bath time. Cotton soap clouds in a warm tub. Lavender embraces the room. Each piece slips into the spa to soak and release the last bits of food. When the dishes are ready, I add more soap to an unused paintbrush and glide the bristles over residue that needs a little nudge to let go. This ritual is my post-dinner yin and yang. Clean dishes, dirty dishes, clean dishes again. Redemption. After the virus leaves, I will return to my dinner party memories during these washings. The hugs, the laughter, the moans of culinary approval, the long, delicious goodbyes. But tonight, I will clear my mind and linger in the lather. Linger in the lather. Thank you.
Thank you. So next up, we'll have Brian, followed by Roshana, Pravadri, and several other people. If you want to volunteer, you still can. Take it away, Brian.
Awesome. Thanks, Leela. This is definitely a Uchigar poem. Thanks, Yolanda, for sharing that phrase with us, because the speaker of this poem is me, but also is not me. Country house in France. Creak. Mother cranks open the casement windows. Summer vacation. We've arrived ahead of you. Ellie and I run into the fields of lavender while the setting sun gleams golden in mother's glass and she drinks. Goose down pillows, walls of robin's egg blue, white ceramic vases, empty all those months we lived our real life, our Manhattan life, and mother labored in the kitchen to get Paul Bocuse right, the French Laundry, La Rue Gastronomique. 30 blocks south, you sat in a window in the sky, raking sons of bitches over the coals for our sake. Late night taxi rides home, sometimes from work, sometimes from her place, the hers we were not supposed to know about. Raindrops on the windshield, taxi radio, dispatches in American, the driver on another call, in another language, the seasons outside in afterthought, the restaurants open late, a string of decades in which anything could be solved with a good bottle of wine brought to you by a server who knew your place. Parsnips simmering in the kitchen, bacon, sage, vinegar, bouillon. Mother's therapy podcasts on the speaker above the refrigerator, self-help podcasts, couples podcasts, books of philosophy from your undergraduate years on the shelves in the living room overlooking Lexington Avenue. What is happiness? What do we need to feel happy? Goodness exists, a younger you wrote in a margin. We know it exists because it is gestured at by beauty, and we can recognize beauty when we see it. Her body, how it filled that dress. You were convinced you were alive because you longed for her, what you thought of as her. Mother would be well into her second glass by the time the elevator delivered you to our floor, smelling of her perfume. I was a freshman at Yale when the call came, 2 years after the divorce. Ellie was sailing across the world without a cell phone. A Saturday night in mid-September, just after midnight. Laughter from the dormitories, beer kegs on the air, cool already. Just over the horizon, train tracks, a highway, a river. A classics major of undetermined gender, whom I was in love with, manically declaiming Ovid. The voice of the doctor asked me in grammar school English if I was your daughter. The night before, the night that was still my night, you had fallen in the grass in the front yard. Your heart had stopped. 1 minute you were 52 years alive on this earth, the next you were dead, and not any age at all. Once when I was a child, I sat beside you in your Alfa Romero as you raced in manic jags up and down the French countryside and asked you how would you prefer to die, by cold or heat, by falling or suffocation, by poisoning or hanging. You sped up. I begged you to slow down, but you laughed and said I was too young to think of death. But I wasn't too young to think of death, Dad, and I'm not now either, as I lay beside you in my bed and it becomes the grass in front of your country house in France, while cows moo in the distance and our hearts, those blind farmers, cover us in stones. Thanks.
Thank you. Next up, let's hear from Roshana, followed by Pravadri, Lisa, Judith, and more. Is Roshana ready? Okay, looks like we're having technical difficulties. We'll come back if we can. How about Pravadri?
Hello everyone, am I audible and visible? Am I audible and visible?
Yes.
Okay. So, thank you for having me here, and it's great for me to participate in it. I have been participating in consecutively 3 months. So, this is one of the poems I wrote it today afternoon, and I've named it The Ultimate Origin. Standing on the verge of death, among many coffins by my side, I pray to you, O Lord, with my family you must abide. They hung the jingling bells and enlightened our home, but tore all ties with me and left me alone to roam. The walls with whom I would talk, the doors to whom I could say, have all turned their backs to me, but keep them safe, O Lord, I pray. Bless me, O Lord, that I shall never return, or even face that house, where thoughts would be shared with mine, and my presence would make hearts warm. May this Christmas, Lord, be different for them and for me. May I get all the grief and they all be happy. For I have dedicated my happiness and identity to them. Alas, they couldn't see. So today in this graveyard, I perform the last rites of the soul inside me, thereby setting it free. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you. Okay, let's see if Lisa is ready, followed by Judith and Pauline. Lisa?
I'm here. Give me one sec. I'm just gonna get my book open. Hang on a minute. Okay, we start my video.
There you
Well,
are.
thank you
Hello.
for having me. Thank you for having me. I'm reading from my new book that just came out, Peripetia, by cyberwit.net. It's a press in India. And I'm gonna read the poem. I'm gonna read Ode for George Floyd. It's one of my really good poems in this book. And so, all right, here goes. There's an epitaph. I Have a Dream by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Going to be somebody, no matter what the white man says. Each and every day I pray to never end up the way George was slayed, obeying the law, none resistant, polite, dressed nicely and unarmed and kind. Rights of African Americans, excuse me. Can you see me? I'm sorry. Rights of African Americans have been destroyed by a system of injustice, glorifying white supremacy, inciting the need to crush the breasts of humanity. Each time I see a policeman use his power to end the life of a person of color, fire burns in my eyes. Lights get dimmed by the tears flowing from my despise. Life is not about the white man and his arrogance using his stick and bullet to oppress the lives of so many Americans, living their lives peacefully and free. Yesterday was only a dream to so many, and we have so many more dreams to dream. Songs to sing, minds to bring the power to esteem. We cannot waste lives being blind to the terror that police brutality brings. Ignite the fire inside. Ignite the fire with all your pride. Ignite the fire inside your mind. Be all that you can be. Power equals education. Very happy people go through life, go through tough times too, but they get up again and again. Every time I see someone like George Floyd get abused, I literally want to cry about and scream, also cause. I can't stand seeing a man in pain, then being demeaned and murdered because he's Black. It upsets me. It upsets nations across the world watching, witnessing police brutality. It sends a message, America's failing and deteriorating and disintegrating. Something must be done now and forever to change the course of our lives so we can learn to love each other. Learn to love each grandmother, grandfather, father, brother, son, mother, sister, daughter, like our own, and respect them as our own. One life equals all our lives, equals all our futures, equals all our humanity, equals all our grandchildren. Now's the time to take no chances. Take no chances. Take no chances, but stay alive. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we'll have Judith, followed by Pauline and John.
Good afternoon. This is a prose poem, and it's called TMI, too much information. I log the day's data. County by county, I record cases, tests, hospitalizations. After a while, my spreadsheet begins to talk in digital tongues. Like distant bird calls, their message is ambiguous in direction and absent of intent. We all prefer conversations dressed up with body language, eye contact, new news. For numbers, it's called datitude. A few entries catch my eye. I begin to visualize patterns, clusters that coalesce and grow. In 100 days, what is now 1,000 will be 10,000, an exponential increase faster than my counter. But the collective mind is just as blind to the obvious as the incredible. Now Hurricane Hannah is on the horizon. I am no prophet, but these results are valid, and those who won't listen will never know the difference they could have made. Can't we all do better than simply cope? A downpour sends us indoors to check our mail, pay our bills, heat our soup, take our pills. Drenched, the trees outside shake their branches dry between thunderclaps like a ringmaster's whip. We look out the window to watch how birds, suspended in flight, master the turbulence.
Thank you, thank you. Next up, let's have Pauline, John, and I'm going to finish it off.
I'm trying to unmute and get the video
There
on.
you are.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I write really short poems. This one came this spring with all the stuff that was going on. And it's called Driving While Us in America. As a white mother, I did not know how to have the talk with my Black son. I did not know how to teach him deference, where to put his large hands, or how, when grown at 6'4", he could seem harmless. There were times when he was young, I woke him up as we drove through the darkest parts of Chicago, where, if alone and seemed to be alone in my white skin, I feared I might be prey. Now, decades later, I buy stuffed animals for him to place very visibly in the rear window of his dark, low-slung muscle car. Is there time for another?
We do have that one per customer rule. Sorry, but I love short poems. Thank you.
Okay, take care.
And John, are you ready?
And wait. Yes, here we go. Thank you. Thank you very much. This is called We Need to Talk. As tired as I am of each weary cliche, I have to conclude at the end of the day, it is what it is. And what can I say? Things happen for a reason. There's something to be said for that. Whatever the season, yada, yada, yada. What goes around comes around. Do what you may, or look the other way. Make no mistake, and don't get me wrong. You asked about optics? So what would that look like? It's not okay, okay? Okay, have it your way. In what world is what you say ever going to be okay? No way, or so you say, a game-changing play. We're backing away, dialing back to the day before toxic fray conflated to weaponize false equivalents on display, making less room to play with only binary options to weigh. What do you mean? What about? Make it all go away. Hello? Are you even listening? You should hear yourself say what you're saying today. When did it become okay to stockpile cliches for the overflow day when outpouring them all could wash the slate clean and channel the way for new waves of cliches? Backwater the old to a phase, you might say, past their old fields of play, which, oh, by the way, still need to be leveled. It's now a new day, but words that still work remain here to stay. No need to ask, are you okay? Because I think I'm hearing you say, quote, for words without end, let us pray, unquote, amen. Free your thoughts as we speak, and more to the point, be plainly direct as a bird. Go forth to love and serve the word. Look around you for more to be heard. Just a few housekeeping notes without favor or fear. We're awaiting the votes while the jury's still out to make things perfectly clear. Our world's round, not flat. And having said that, are we done here?
Thank you. So I know a lot of poets like to read their own work, but you always have the option of reading someone else's poem. And I have been escaping the pandemic through literature as well as a person can. I recently discovered this poet named Rebecca Elson. She was an astronomer, and someone gave me this lovely book called A Responsibility to Awe. So I'm going to share, basically this poem is just my new favorite thing. I love this. It's called Let There Always Be Light, Searching for Dark Matter. For this, we go out dark nights searching for the dimmest stars, for signs of unseen things, to weigh us down, to stop the universe from rushing on and on into its own beyond, till it exhausts itself and lies down cold, its last star going out. Whatever they turn out to be, let there be swarms of them, enough for immortality, and always a star where we can warm ourselves. Let there even be enough to bring it back from its own edges, to bring us all so close that we ignite that bright spark of resurrection.